Coming up on today's episode.
Oh, yeah.
You're wonderful. You're a very different agent.
Yeah, I am a bit different, but that's the kind of service that I would like.
Yep.
And so you treat people how you would want to be treated as well.
Yeah.
Because as we said, it's one of their biggest assets.
Dodgy advice and bad decisions can cost you big in real estate. We're here to make sure that doesn't happen. Welcome to the No BS Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Jo Agresta, and it's time to take control of your property journey together.
Hi, I'm Wendy Beadle from Beadle Real Estate in the Paynesville area, and I'm on the show today to talk about buying and selling in regional Victoria. Let's get into it now.
Welcome back, everyone, to the No BS Real Estate Podcast, your listening how-to guide to the Aussie finance and real estate market. I'm your host, Jo Agresta. Today, I'm joined by Wendy Beadle from Beadle Real Estate here in East Gippsland. Wendy has been in real estate for around 20 years, working across Paynesville, Bairnsdale and the broader East Gippsland region. She started her career in one of the toughest markets right around GFC, and that's when there were really no easy sales, no shortcuts, and the job meant learning the basics properly. Training, admin, door knocking, letterbox drops, follow-up and building trust one person at a time. Since then, Wendy has built a business deeply connected to the local community, where sellers often come through word of mouth, past clients, signboards and reputation. And when you're working in a regional market, that trust really matters. So today, it's not just a market update. We're talking about what regional real estate actually looks like behind the scenes, why reputation matters, what sellers should understand before choosing an agent, what buyers need to know before making a regional move, and why a good local agent needs to understand people just as much as property. So Wendy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jo, for having me on today.
I'm so excited because when I chatted with you on the phone, I just had a really good connection and we kept chatting back and forth. And I just thought, with your wealth of experience, especially we're sitting here on the foreshore of Paynesville. It's beautiful. And I was just so excited to, share your knowledge and when we were talking about angles. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Of course. I think the best place to start any of these conversations is your background. So do you mind sharing with us, for those that haven't come across you before, who you are, the work you've done in real estate and how you ended up in real estate?
Okay, so the work I've done, well, first of all, how I ended up in real estate was a long journey, with different backgrounds and things that I've done and businesses of our own. A job come up and I went for it and actually got the job. So with my background of interior design, it sort of married in with real estate for me to be able to help my clients. So that's probably how I got into it. I was with a big company and I've got trained very well and I've been in and out of it a couple of times, but in bigger companies. But I just felt it was the right time, 8 years ago to do my own thing.
Oh, I love that. For real estate, I feel like I've done the same thing. I came out, I was in and then I was out. It's like recidivism. I feel like you can't leave this property bug.
It does get you. And even if I go away, I do my best work while I'm away.
Yeah.
I usually sell houses while I'm away because you just can't get away. And I don't want to get away from it. Yep. It's a balance if you make it and it works. Yeah.
And you're so passionate about it. I don't know how to explain property to people who haven't worked in the industry before, but it's an addiction. It's just exciting
Very
to
much
see
so.
people purchase, sell and getting good results. And you'll take all the ups and downs because it's just worthwhile.
Absolutely. And it's also about their journey, whether they be a seller or a purchaser, and marrying them up and making sure they've both got the right outcome and the right journey moving forward or moving in. That's really important to me.
I think that's what got me most when we spoke because, in a metro region, a lot of agents tend to be very focused on, well, that's what my seller wants, get on board or get out.
Yeah.
And then what struck me with yourself is when we were talking, you said, no, the buyer has to be happy as well as the seller. We need a perfect marriage in that way. And that's why I wanted you here. I thought, well, you're the right person to come on our podcast because it's just so important for both people to be happy.
Absolutely. And the seller obviously has to be happy.
Yep.
We're working for them. I call it a team effort. We're all on the same page. But they're moving on either out of the area, but the purchaser, they're moving in. So we need to make it a really nice journey for them to come to the area and stay here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super important.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we talked about was you started in GFC with yours. I know I started real estate 2 years later.
Yeah.
And, which I guess was a really tough market back then. What did that market and starting your career right then, how did it help you, I guess, with your foundations and working through a tough market, and then when the market's good, how you kind of sail through?
Okay, so when I first started, it was a larger company, very well trained, I might add. And for the first year, you're not a seller. You can't be on sales for a year. So that year, is what the basics to me is. So you go out door knocking, you go out letterbox dropping, you write letters, you're just out in the community all the time. You don't sit in your office. Nothing happens there. So you've got to be out. And that's probably that year taught me a lot of really good basics and groundwork moving forward. So when the market wasn't as good, which it wasn't when I finally got out there, you never lost those. You always reverted back to them.
Yeah.
And even when the market's good, that's fine, but the market does go up and down all the time. So if you've got those basics, you can always pull them out again.
100%. I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't realise is the door knocking is effective, in my opinion. The letterbox drops, they do yield calls. I know a lot of people go, I just chuck my junk mail out. But when you're trying to sell, if you've even got an idea in your brain that you may sell, you start to pay attention to what's in your mailbox.
Or even with the brochures, no, I'm not selling. A month later, they might. Yeah. Or I've knocked on doors because a client has said, I really like that property. So I've knocked on the door and they've said, oh, no, we're not interested. But within 2 weeks, hey, Wendy, we've thought about this and yes, we would like to sell. And that's the marriage of the purchaser and the seller.
And it's knowing the area that you're in. I think that's fundamental when you're in real estate. You know the properties, you've seen them, you've observed, and you know when people might go yes or say no.
Yes, yeah.
It's important. It's so important.
And at the end of the day, it's the seller's decision at all times. But sometimes it jolts them, or they have been thinking about it but not really done anything about it. Yeah. So it can work. Yeah.
Oh, it can. I had someone not even that long ago, an agent knock on the door and they said, would you think of selling? I have a buyer for the property. And I said, well, do you have a buyer or are you having me on?
Yes,
and I said, because if you have a buyer, I'll listen.
Yeah.
And at what price point? That's my question.
Yeah.
And I said, because I've got a price in mind, but I don't know. And then what was funny is he followed up and he goes, look, I'll be honest, I don't have a buyer. And I've gone, right, interesting. And he said, but I saw that you were in real estate. And he said, so I better not bullshit you. And I said, well, be careful. If someone calls you bluff and you're talking crap, that listing's going to sit there. They're not going to want to deal with you.
Absolutely. And that's why when you're dealing with clients, it's about being honest and trust. Because if you're not honest, they won't trust you.
And it won't go further either. It doesn't help. I think that's the one thing that a lot of people misunderstand about agents is you as the buyer in that moment will become a seller, whether that's 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. You're going to remember the experience that you had with Wendy and you'll want to go back and say, you know who treated us really well? Wendy, let's go back.
Yes. I have a lot of referrals back like that.
Yeah.
Well, not really referrals, but clients that have moved in and then 5 years later, 7 years later, moving out, maybe 2 years later, depending on what the circumstances are. And they do. Most of them come back, yes.
And I can only imagine that because you're reading your reviews and seeing your website. It's so much history and so much knowledge that you have. You're really a local area expert, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I think one of the things too is, you said that when the market gets tough, you go back to basics. What are some of those basics that you go back to? Is that your door knocking letterbox drops still?
Yes, we always do brochures.
Yep.
I do regular brochures every season.
Yeah, nice.
Every year. And I have people that will do that for me. So I try and employ a lot of local people too when needed within the business.
Because that's important, isn't it, to have that?
A network.
Yeah, and
fabulous network. And network with, brochures. My small team, I have 2 staff now. We will follow up in the office with, say, withdrawals or any old listings or people that have moved in. So we'll do the phone calls. Yeah. It's just continuous. There's never a time in the office or within the business that you can not do anything.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing nothing, you're not creating anything.
I think, and those are the fundamentals, because like in the environment we're in, social media has become a very big thing to market properties, obviously, whether those are paid ads or getting the sellers to pay for those campaigns. But, you know, going back to fundamentals, like you said, saying, I have a buyer that missed out. They like your home, or they are looking for a home similar to yours. Yeah. Are you keen? Yeah. And I think going back to those basics, a lot of people these days don't want to do that, new agents.
No. And look, the world is going very digital, especially with real estate. You know, I have so many people contact me with, we can offer this, we can offer websites, we can do all these fancy things. I like to just keep it simple. Yep. And simple works for me. And it works also for my clients, because a lot of them are elderly and they don't understand it.
Yeah, it's like, here's an app. Go on my app. They're going to go, oh,
some of them don't even have emails. So, you know, I get the emails for them, or, you know, help them along.
Which is nice that, you know, you see that and you're like, okay, I'll adapt to your style. Yeah. Which I think is important.
Because everybody's a bit different. So you do have to adapt. Yeah.
You do. And look, I think apps can be wonderful. Like, you know, tech is wonderful in so many ways, but it's when appropriate. I think it doesn't need to be tech everything. Real estate's a people business. Yeah. So it's not always about, you know, what flashy device or website have you got. It's more, well, how good are you with people?
But even our clients, most of them, again, it can be young or old, they get emails every week if they want them on reports, etc. The younger ones tend to text all the time.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And that's fine, so I'll text them back. But I personally like to speak to the person or go and visit them, like one-on-one. Yeah.
Makes a big difference, though. I feel like the in-person, especially when you're dealing with like someone's biggest asset.
Yes, it is a big asset.
That is something that...
And we're helping them with this huge asset, so we need to make it right.
Yeah. No, I love your approach. And one of the things too, before we move on to today's topic is, you know, what made you build Beadle Real Estate, like, and go out on your own and separate from, like, you know, your bigger conglomerates?
Probably I've been in the industry, like I said, in and out a few times. We've had our own businesses prior to that, just within the family. And I just felt it was the right time. Yeah. Like, I'd had enough experience behind me. I just felt it was right. Yeah. And was embedded into the community. So I thought, let's just give this a go. I was also very much encouraged by my children.
Oh, that's amazing.
Said, Mum, you can do this. Oh, I can't. Yes, you can. And I said, okay. So I did it, and I got my full license, etc. And I look back now and I think, how did I do it? But anyway, I did it. And then I looked at it and pressed the button and went, yep, we're done. That's how we started. So it was very simple.
I love that encouragement from kids, you know, because when you would have started, they would have been much younger or like different. And now that they're kind of seeing you away from, like, you know, all the different roles or businesses.
Well, they were older children and they'd already left home. So they were in their 30s. But the two older ones, business, builders, designers, etc. Meg's not so much, but they all said, Mum, you can do this. Yeah. And I said, really? Can I? And they go, absolutely.
I'm so glad they encouraged you. Yeah. Because it led to this conversation and, you know, I can see just based on, like I said, reviews and how, you know, you're perceived in the community, it's awesome, you know, and that's the reputation that speaks volumes. So your kids were right and you've done it. So good on you.
I'm not telling them it though.
No, and we won't let them listen to this podcast either. We'll just edit that out. Okay. And I think, you know, you've lived and worked across places like Dargo, you know, Bairnsdale, Eagle Point and Paynesville. So you're not just selling the area from like the outside, you know, you've actually lived different life stages there too, which I think is important. I imagine that gives you a very different understanding of what buyers and sellers are looking for as well.
Absolutely. Probably coming from Melbourne originally on the peninsula, moving to Dargo, once again in and out of there for 20 odd years. It just gives me a sense of the different pathways that I've had within my own life and the businesses and just the little different directions within the area, but within different little spots. So now when I go, for example, to a farm and I'll meet the farmer to, you know, maybe list his property and we'll get out the car and he'll look at the girls and go, I'm sure they think, what are they going to know? And then we get there and start talking and look around the property and sit down and have the cup of tea, being the farmer.
Of course.
And by the time we've gone, we've pretty much got the listing because they know that we're not telling them stuff that we don't know.
Yeah.
But when we do say, yes, we know how a ball works, or we know how to do this, they look at you and go, oh, that's not too bad.
It's like, okay, you get me.
Yeah.
And you understand what I do.
And I do understand that, because that's the different side of the fence. You can't, some people are specialised in residential or rural or bigger rural, but I've got a range across the whole board, so it's quite handy. Yeah.
Well, that's because of, like you said, your lived experience. And it would be pretty funny to get into this, the girls get out, it's like Charlie's Angels arrive, and then you're like, okay, so I know what the ball does, and they're like, what?
Yeah. And that's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but when they do, and I've just listed a beautiful little property, and we've become friends. I go out for a cup of tea.
Oh, good on you.
He's really good. Yeah.
And that's so nice. It's so personable to have those relationships. I think they make a big difference when you're trying to help someone, get to that next stage of their life too.
Yeah.
And before I get too far ahead, because I always get too far ahead and carried away, we need to bring up our no BS statement of the day. So for those that are new here, basically I'll put out a statement that is neither here nor there. And then by the end of the episode, I'll ask you to determine if it's BS or not BS.
So you're going to ask me?
Yes, at the end of the episode. Yep. So we're going to talk first, though, and we'll see. But just to let everyone know the statement, it is, in regional real estate, trust travels faster than marketing. So we're not going to answer that yet, but by the end of the episode, I'm sure we'll get clear on an answer. So let's get into today's topic, which is selling in a regional market. I think starting with sellers, right? So their perspective, because in a regional market, choosing an agent, I guess, feels very personal, like what you've just described in your, the way that you're interacting is different to a lot of the metro-based interactions. It's very different. Yeah. So a lot of your sellers come through word of mouth, past referrals, and you were telling me the other day, signboards, just seeing your signboards is so effective.
Yes.
How much does the trust influence, how or when people choose to list with you?
I think, like I said before, honest conversation with the seller, number one, which then creates trust between the agent and the seller.
Yeah. Because what are some of the ways that you try to build that trust with your clients?
I listen a lot. I try not to talk too much unless they want to know some knowledge, but I usually follow up with that background stuff. So I listen to what they want, and that's where it's more important. So you can get a feel for where they're going, what they're doing, why they're doing it. And usually they'll open up and tell me because they trust me, because every client is individual and their journey will never go to another client. And that's a trust thing too.
It's true. I think that, and that's the beauty of active listening, I think. And people do open up when they're given that time to speak freely.
Yeah.
That's how you build a lot of trust. So it's a really true tip, I feel like.
As an agent, we need to know not everything.
Yep.
We're not detectives, but we think we like to be.
Of course.
But we need to know some parts of where they're going and why they're doing it so we can actually help.
Yeah.
And timeframes, et cetera, and things like that.
Yeah, because often you'll be in some time, depending on where they're going, of course, you could help them get the next property as well.
Yes, and that's happened.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And also it could be because they have to go back to Melbourne or wherever with family or medicals. We are a long way away from medical.
Yeah, that's true.
When you get very unwell. So that's a big thing in this area too.
Yeah. There's a little stat that I came across because we were very excited by it. So our family obviously has a home down here and we visit often. But it said Paynesville was the top 10 places to retire in Australia.
Yes.
And I
heard that.
That was awesome.
Yeah. And I went, yay.
Yeah, I'm like, I believe it because my partner and I have talked about this ever since she came down here for the first time. She was so excited. She goes, no, can we move here now? I want to live here now. And I'm like, okay, I've got things to do in Melbourne still. I don't want to travel just yet. But I agree, coming to a place like this, I see why it's so appealing.
It is very appealing. It's just a slower pace of life.
Yeah.
A lot of clients need sometimes a little bit more. It's not far to go to Melbourne to do a show or Beadle or wherever, but coming back to here is very, very lovely to live.
It is.
With all the waterways, etc. Our snowfields are an hour away.
Yep.
No, we've got everything here. The wineries.
It's just nice. And then you've got lakes down the road, like Meetung.
Yeah. You
can get there by boat if you know
the lake system is amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I've grown up here just as much as I have in my own town in Melbourne. And every summer that we used to come down, we used to stay at the Mariners Cove.
Yeah.
And then my grandparents decided, we come here a lot, let's just buy something.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish you were the agent back then. I would love it.
Yeah, it would have been lovely.
I think they purchased, Phil, was it 2008? 2007.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they purchased back then. And it's a great little home, and now we've renovated, and you know, the next generation's looking after it.
Yeah, beautiful.
So it's awesome. And I think the reason I bring that up is because the demographic, like you're far from medical. How do you think that goes with being the top retirement place, but still having that challenge of the medical system being a bit further?
Well, it's unless you're really, really unwell and have to go down, that's a different scenario.
Yeah.
Medical, we have a fantastic doctors here.
Yep.
We have a new ambulance service here.
Oh, right.
In Paynesville, and they're very, very good. We've got Bairnsdale Hospital, which is not far away.
Yep.
And so it's very easy to be transported through ambulance to there, to the hospital. From the hospital, it's either treated there, or if it's more serious, you'll be flown or driven or helicopter to Relgan.
Wow.
But if it's more serious, straight to Melbourne.
Yeah.
So there's a link there all the way.
Oh, that's positive.
Quite good, yeah.
Okay, that reassures me a bit.
Yes, you'll be fine.
I was all right, cool, good to know. And I guess when you're selling, you know, in these areas like Paynesville, Bairnsdale, like the surrounding suburbs as well, how does local knowledge change the way you approach a campaign?
Okay, so for example, this is pretty much my core area, the Paynesville area, and the waterways and the canals, etc. So this little area is very different, say, from Bairnsdale. And why it's different is because we've got all the water.
Yep.
It's a little bit more slower paced.
Yep.
Not as many shops, but what we've got is beautiful. Whereas then you move probably into Bairnsdale, it's bigger. It's not as slow as here, but it's different, and that's what people want or need sometimes.
Yep.
And moving out further to more rural and, you know, that outer area, that's a different scenario again.
Yeah.
More country, land.
Farming, like that
farming,
kind of...
hobby farming, children with horses, motorbikes, you know, all that. Yeah. So each one is a different, and I don't have a flat-out campaign for either of them because every property is unique.
Yeah, so you treat the campaign individually.
Absolutely, because sometimes they'll want... Usually my campaign is just straight-out listing.
Yeah.
I have a lot of advertising and social media and everything behind, databases, etc.
Yep.
So that covers the whole lot. But if they want more, we can give more.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So, and I like that you've tailored that to their approach, because often I think this is where, when you put the listing online, this is where you start to see the descriptions and the way, you know, the hero images that are selected for photos are different according to, you know, what's it like? What is the area? Are we showing off the farm and the acreage and the land, or are we showing off the water, the beachfront? And
it's quite diverse in this area.
Yeah, it is.
So we have to adapt to each one individually. Yeah.
Because, like you said, Bairnsdale is like that city hub. It's like its own city. You know, you can travel there. It's almost like a Traralgon as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And I can understand why the marketing or the way you would approach each property is totally different. Because who's going to, like, you don't find the same people buying 3 different types of properties. If they're coming here, they're coming here.
They come here because of the water, you know, and the lifestyle. And it really is a lifestyle area, this one.
Yes.
Bairnsdale's different. It's more for probably families as well, with the schools, work, you know, a lot more work opportunities in there. They want to be closer to that. And then you've got your country that just go out that step further and are happy to travel in and out, but have that lifestyle on the land rather than on the water.
100%. And I think one of the questions I wanted to know is, when you first walk into a seller's home, like, what are you looking for before you even sell it? So, like, what are some of the elements that you try to pick out when you're...
Okay, it can be quite different to different properties. But overall, as soon as I step in, my number one thing is the feel of the home. It's got a feel, how structurally it is, you know, and look at that. I don't look at the seller's furnitures or their memorabilia or anything like that. That's not on. It's just about imagining someone else within this home. most homes, whether they be old or new, have a wow factor.
Yeah.
And I always find it. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. They do have a feel.
Yeah.
When you walk into a home, it's very much, you get a vibe straight away.
Absolutely. And that's same with the sellers.
Yeah.
I don't say much. I bring them in and I stop and we stand.
Yep.
And they stand because I want them to absorb if they're getting that feel for them or not.
Right.
And usually they'll tell me. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it'll feel
As
like
we
home.
walk through, is it feeling like home or not? And you can get it pretty much from just stepping into the door. Yeah.
So is that what you do with your buyers when you walk them through?
Yes, absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a nice experience to hear.
Yeah.
And
we'll stop halfway and absorb, and then we'll keep going.
I've never heard of someone taking that approach, and I love it because it is a big feeling, you know, when you walk into certain homes, sometimes immediately.
Absolutely. But then that's could be a little danger thing too, because if buyers come in and I love this and I love that and I love this, we just sort of have to, I slow them down, not to discourage them. That's not what it's about. It's about, let's take this slow, because they buy with their heart and they get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that it's right for them. Yeah.
I really love your approach. It's so different to what I've experienced with a lot of other agents in the past, because normally that's where the agent starts to reel in
ramp up. Well, that's probably why I'm by myself.
Yeah.
Because I can do those things and control it in my way, but also in my buyer's way, and all sellers. Yeah.
Of course. And it actually works in the benefit for the seller too, because then they're getting someone who's not going to go cold or be flaky because they're being pushed into a pressure decision.
And they could be pushed in and they go to contract and then
disappear,
and it's all for nothing. So we need to make it right, and that enhances it's the sale for the seller as well. Because we don't
100%.
want them in and walking away. We want them to be comfortable and stay here.
Yeah, and then they're going to see you in town. They're going to eventually run into you at the coffee shop.
And that's another big thing, because they see me all the time.
I can imagine.
So, yes, we have to be very honest and trustworthy.
Yeah, because then news travels fast, right?
Absolutely.
It's, Wendy sold me a lemon. It's like, no, you don't want that reputation.
No.
And like one story you told me on the phone, I just thought it was unreal, like that you do this. But, you told me that you and Amanda sometimes have been known to, when you're going to list a property or before they do the photos, helping them with actual like design,
Absolutely.
Visually, where does the couch go? Let's get a throw rug, or let's get this, let's get that organised. And you do that like as a help to your clients.
As a service.
Yeah.
That's the kind of things that I can offer. Yeah. As a free service, I'm happy to do it, because that's one of my loves, having that interior design background. But immediately when you walk into a home, and especially if it's an open plan or not, the couch might be cutting the room in half or something like that. Yeah. And their eyes don't see it because they live in it. Yeah. And that's what happens. But new, fresh eyes come in and go, oh, hold on a minute, we could open this up. And so we suggest it. We don't suggest it to everybody, but the ones that we have suggested it to, or given them little breakdown projects, they've done it, and then we've come back in and helped move.
And have you found that it actually makes a difference to their value? Like when
it makes a difference to, yes, their value, but it also makes a really big difference to presentation and the photos, because that's the first thing people see.
That's so true. It's the biggest impression that you're going to get of a property is when you first see it online.
Yeah. And we need that first impression to be the best that we can achieve for them.
I just thought it was wonderful when you shared, like, you've got your design background, and I'm like, that's so nice that you do it as a service, like part of your business.
Pretty much what I love doing as well.
Oh, so you're mixing it in. You're like, that's all right. I've got two passions. Yeah, we're going to make the best of it.
Yeah.
But it's a full-on thing now that people do, is staging homes, and some people spend thousands and thousands of dollars on it.
A lot of my clients haven't got thousands.
Yeah.
Or they haven't, or sometimes they may have the money and they've got beautiful things, but they don't see it. You've got to see it in a buyer's eyes as well.
You do. I think that too, like, I often have this chat with my partner. She's visually, like, she knows how to put things together. Our home's beautiful because of her. Yeah. Then you walk into my study where I'm very different. I've got a very different vibe. Yeah. And then I looked at her study when we were doing up each of our studies. We said, free reign on whatever we want to do. Her study, she did this beautiful design on the wall, and then and it was black and sleek. And I walked into her office and I'm like, I'm jealous.
I want to swap.
I said, I'll sit in here. And she's like, absolutely not. And she said, but I can do your office. But mine's got like, this half brick effect on it and half a black wall. And I love my office, but no, I look at hers and I'm super jealous.
And you've got to make it also, whether it be an office or a lounge room or whatever, to feel homely.
Yeah.
So when you walk in there, you get that nice vibes and you can place yourself in that home.
And I think that's like part of one of the design things they talk about is neutral colours, like not making anything too bright or harsh.
Yeah. I've also had, and look, some people love colour, but some people don't. So if you've got some bright orange walls or purple walls, I suggest to paint them because it's not going to be yours anyway. Once you list it, you're halfway gone. If they can't do it, I've got a fantastic little network of people that can come in and do those sorts of things for people.
Yeah, and I think having that network and those people available to you to say, can you please go do a wall for this person? It's a big help.
Yeah, like the handymans, tradies, it's quite a good little network and they're reliable too.
Well, you've got the relationships with them, so it's easy to pick up the phone for you to just make that connection and make that
and
work for them. Good on you. I think that's a huge thing because the listing photos make a difference to draw the buyers in, and that's where the buyers often, as soon as they see your property, they're making a call or they're sending that inquiry form and saying, I like it, how do I
have
inspect?
a couple of photographers now.
Oh, nice.
Because we couldn't keep up and they both took drone shots, which is fantastic. Not every property needs a drone shot, but most of them around here do because we want to capture that water so then people can sort of see roughly where it's placed within the town or how close it is or not. So, we've got 2 on board now and they're pretty busy.
I can imagine. I absolutely love the drone shots.
Yes.
So, we've got a drone ourselves and we use it for a lot of like our videography stuff. And it just turns out spectacular.
Yeah.
I did this Airbnb shoot the other day down in Geelong and the photos and the drone just turned out amazing to capture the whole area. Yeah. And it's changed a lot for perception or perspective as well. I find when you zoom out and you see the property, then you see what's behind it and you can see there's the local cafe, there's the school.
And we pinpoint that on, so if we do an aerial shot, we'll pinpoint the background if there's the town or primary school or football oval. Yeah. And we'll also boundary the property approximately, I say. Nice. So it's never true, but it's approximate boundary so they can get a sense of how big it is and where it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so important too because you need to know like the sizing. I feel like that's where sometimes things go awry, especially with buyers coming in so excited.
Yes.
They overlook. Didn't think my couch would fit here. I thought my couch would fit here. I didn't even measure it.
I go down to the house and I have done this many times, and if we don't have a floor plan, because sometimes we don't have a floor plan, the house is so old, so I'll quickly sketch a rough plan up, not to scale. Yep. Or I'll go down and measure the rooms for them.
Oh, you're wonderful. You're a very different agent.
Yeah, I am a bit different, but that's the kind of service that I would like.
Yep.
And so you treat people how you would want to be treated as well. Because as we said, it's one of their biggest assets.
Yeah. I love it. And it's the perfect, time to kind of go into the local snapshot that I wanted to get from you because one of the things is I wanted to know like what you're seeing in East Gippsland at the moment, like in terms of the mix of buyers and sellers, like are we getting a lot of, the younger families coming in or is it still like your retirees or what are you seeing?
I see a mix.
Yeah.
I see a lot of younger families coming in with children for schools, for country life, for lifestyle. Yeah. And that's why they're coming. The older ones, they're here already. They're either staying here or moving out or, downsizing, I should say. Then there's the middle range and they are either retirees or nearly retirees and it's more for lifestyle as well.
Right. So you're like, because you've mentioned since the budget announcement, which I think a lot of us in this industry are feeling it, but there's been a bit of a shift, especially with investors and some holiday homeowners.
Yes, already I've listed quite a few investor properties. When I say a few, probably 3 or 4, it's early days yet.
But it's still a lot
on the phone, talking about not sure what I'm doing yet, Wendy, we'll talk it through.
Yeah.
A couple just recently that have had their homes on the markets for quite a while have said, no, we need to take it off. We need to just stop.
Wow.
And we'll just stay here and do a few renos and we'll look at it because they're a little bit worried about what might happen within the next 2 to 4 months.
Yeah, of course.
Let alone not moving forward after that. We don't know. I said, I haven't got the crystal ball. So, you know, if you still want to stay here and live, do it.
Yeah.
You can always put it back on later. But the investors are starting to come through, whether it's been a holiday B&B or a rental.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're starting to come through.
It's interesting to me to hear that, because a lot of agents, even in the metro region, they're feeling the same things. They're getting the same type of calls.
I think the metro region is it's happening quicker down there, and I think it's because of the volume of people and, you know, everything there. It ripples back through here. It used to ripple back after a little while, but it's rippling back sooner than later. Yeah,
because there's probably a lot of investors that are probably Melbourne-based or
and we're more
connected
connected now than years ago. You know, it used to ripple back. It's more connected now, so it's rippling.
Especially social media. It's connected everyone that far and wide, so it's very different now.
So that's why I'd suggest buying a beautiful lifestyle area.
I agree.
And stay here.
It's my plan, and I know who I'm using. And I guess, you know, Paynesville's been recognised, you know, as a strong retirement location, but you're also seeing, like you said, the young families and the mid-range, like, you know, families moving in. How is the buyer demographic changing, do you think? Or do you think it isn't?
I think it's been like this for quite a while, especially the 8 years that I've been in it. I've had the whole three.
Your whole three sides
scenario
to the story.
There. So I don't think it's really changing for me.
Yeah. No, it's good to know, because that's why I'm wondering if we're going to start, like, you know, in COVID, there was a big push to regional. Everyone started moving out of Melbourne altogether.
Oh, yeah.
And going to Queensland or anywhere but Melbourne.
I know.
I start to see like a similar kind of vibe at the moment, where a lot of the people in my age group, like, you know, our mid-30s, we're starting to think about that slower pace lifestyle straight away, instead of saying, oh, we'll wait till we're, you know, we may be in our 50s and we'll think about it. We're all trying to chase that serenity.
And that age group, that's my children's age group, they don't wait.
Yeah.
They earn it, don't get me wrong, but they don't wait 10 or 20 years. They do it now.
Yeah, it's everything's now. I'm in that age group, and I can tell you right now, that's if we have an opportunity to be here, it'll be on a whim. It'll be a last minute. We're doing it.
Yeah.
we're just here.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know why we're like that. Very impulsive.
I'm a bit older than you, but I'm a bit like that too.
Yeah. So maybe it's you guys passed it down to us.
Yeah. Maybe we trained them right.
Yeah, you did. I think you did.
Yeah, because often, you know, you think of something and you think, oh my God, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like when we first went into hotels, that was my decision.
Wow.
I said, we need to do this. And there was personal reasons behind it. So we did it. I had 2 children, one going to primary school and a little one at home.
Gosh.
But they survived. And they're great now.
Oh, they would have been
really well.
They would have had fun around the hotel, though.
Yeah, they could.
Oh, you would have been like the sweet life of Zach and Cody. You would have loved
But it was very remote areas. So it wasn't like the big hotel in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I used to think of it as a big country guest house, and we'd just feed them and give them beers.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, damn, I wish you still had it. I'd be down there.
Yes. A lot of work.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine managing that many guests. It's like one.
You never knew how many you're going to have. You could have 1 or 100.
So it's just, there's probably a whole episode here that we could cover around your journey.
That's my other life.
Yeah, it's like, in my other life, I did this. Yeah. I would love to hear more. But I wanted to now like switch gears back to our buyers, right? Because buying in regional, like without buying, I think the idea of it, because people don't really like, I find it interesting because regional property is like that people fall in love with the idea of it before they kind of assess, well, what is that kind of lifestyle change going to be? And this goes back to that impulsive
absolutely
process.
And that come out a lot in COVID.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They wanted out of Melbourne, and so it's a dream. Yeah. And they pick an area and they fall in love with it. So they're telling themselves this story. Sometimes it's fine, and other times it's not fine for them. They'll be gone in a year or 2. Right. And I sort of stop, and that's why I stop and listen to them and really try and understand what they truly want, because we don't want them moving here and then going again.
Of course.
Just, we want them to be right. So, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, and I think that's the shock. Like when you come from like a bigger city, everything is available to you late night, early morning.
All the shopping, the shops, every access. And that's probably why my 3 children aren't here.
And that's why they're not here.
One of them lives pretty close to the city.
Yeah.
They love it. I visit, I'm happy to come home. Another one lives close but not right in, that's fine. And the other one's up in the red dirt,
Not the
middle of Queensland.
Jeez.
So he's got the best one.
Yeah, you're like, I like going to visit him.
Yeah.
And
but they come away, what we were saying, you know, they come up to a country area, wherever it may be, and then realise they miss those services or they miss their lifestyle of what they could just have down the road, and it's not here.
And I think that's part of like one of the things we were talking about, like, you know, the expectations or the adjustments, like when you're walking those buyers through, that's what you're doing by listening to say, so you know that the nightlife is different. You know, you don't have that same vibe.
Yeah.
How are you going to shift with that?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you have to create, I mean, there is some beautiful venues around here as well, but you have to create a lot yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so you would go out, have your friends round, for example, or take your lunch somewhere with your family, you know, you create your own. Yeah.
You do.
Also.
And even for us, my partner, I think she said fishing 16 times on the trip up here. She's very much hanging out for it. And because we actually catch fish here, whereas back home it's without the boat, it's a bit hard.
I know, you just can't get them.
No, and then you
could walk down that jetty opposite us now and catch a fish.
That's right. Yeah. So that's where it's like, you know, it's just a great place for that kind of lifestyle. But I think we're more country than we are city. Like I said, if I didn't have the business and all my dealings down in CBD, I would 100% be happy to.
You're just not ready yet.
Correct. Yeah, I'm not ready yet. And I said, but she's ready yesterday.
Well, I'll talk to her, not you.
You chat to her, all right? And then what will happen is you'll get me on board by showing me a house. It'll be easy. But I think one of the things is like, you know, how much do buyers, I guess, rely on you, not just about the property itself in question, but like to give that, you know, the town, the lifestyle, the services, the local feel, especially because you've had some interstate investors.
Yes. And they do not know the area at all. And one in particular was sort of middle-aged, so they weren't really worried about the schools, etc., like some of the younger ones are. But mostly they would be worried about where's our closest hospital, what happens in an emergency, have you got this here, have you got doctors, have you got dentists, do you have a supermarket? You know, just the basics. They don't want the whole, you know, city because they know it's a rural area. But they need to know all of those things that we can offer them in this community. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to, because some of the investors buy sight unseen, like when they're buying privately.
Yeah.
And it's
scary.
How do you feel about that?
Personally, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I have had 3 buyers do that.
Wow.
And they have been at all very good price ranges within the housing. All of them, we FaceTime. We FaceTime a lot. We do a lot of walkthroughs and FaceTime. If they've got friends or family in the area, we encourage them to come with us to give them another perspective and another set of eyes on the property. If the property has a few little imperfections that I know about, I will tell them. It's not going to be hidden because they're going to find it anyway, or the build and pest guy will find it anyway. So we, you know, zoom in on those things and go, oh, this is this, but, you know, get your guy to look at that and they go away. But if there's anything, oh, Wendy, we need to come back to this, we'll go out again and do it for them. Yeah. Because it is a big investment, sight unseen.
I think, and that's what struck me when we were chatting, like, you know, you said we do the video walkthroughs for them. That's something a buyer's advocate does for a lot of their interstate purchases. And I just thought that was wonderful. Like, you're like, okay, let's do our due diligence here. Here's all the imperfections. Here's everything.
There's nothing hidden.
Yeah.
And that's why there's no dishonesty. Yeah. And that's why it's about trust, and they trust you, which is a good thing. But probably I can offer all those services too, because I'm by myself. It's a small little business. Well, it's growing, but we can offer all of those services without any extra cost. And because I do them.
And you can control what you want to offer.
Do or don't do.
Yeah, which I think that's
some
part of the
need
fun.
More, some don't. You know, some need none.
That's true
so
too.
It's a balance, and it all works out.
I think that's the beauty of like a boutique agency, because when you're like, I worked for, you know, Century 21 and Ray White back then, and you are very much locked into their processes, their ways of selling, their ways of, you know, dealing with buyers, applications, and it's sometimes very, I felt trapped a lot of the time in that system, because I'm like, I know that if I do this way, and I
It's
say
going
what
to
I want to
work.
say, it'll work. And I used to often say, probably wasn't a very good real estate agent in the end because I always helped the buyer. I felt bad for them. Like I remember I had buyers come through one property and I said, no, it's just not for you. I said, look, there's problems. If you've got an extra $10,000 and you really love it, it'll work out.
Yeah.
And I said, but I do have another property that I want you to see. If you still want this one,
come back.
And they bought the other one from me. And
but it's about being honest because they would have found that anyway.
Through a building and pest, they would have found it. And that's why I said, if you're going to buy this, get a building and pest. But I'm just letting you know what I know. And that's my estimate. But, they ended up buying the other property and they were very, very thankful. And I remember my boss saying to me, she observed me once saying something like that. And she goes, why are you discouraging people? I said, I'm not. I'm shifting them to the right property. I said, there's another one that's better and you know it. And I said, this property, they need to fix it. And I said, this is not sellable as the way it is. It'll come out.
Of course it does. And it always does come out.
It does.
So that's why you have to be honest and make sure they get the right thing. I had a lady not long ago that looked at 2 properties. She was by herself and they were good, but they needed work. And she went through both and said, no, it's just too much work. And I said, I've got another one. I did not mention it until she'd gone through those 2. Just follow me. I'll put my blinker on. I'll go around the corner. Stop. Let me know if you want to go through. So I let her have a look. I stopped around the corner. She stopped and she said, yes.
Oh, wow.
I want to go through. I said, okay, now I'll try and get you through. So we got her through and she bought it. And it was low maintenance. Brick didn't have to do much at all.
What made you show her the first 2?
Her choice.
Right.
Yeah.
See, this is what
And if it's their choice, I will show them.
Of course.
But immediately I knew after the first one they weren't for her, but that was her call. She had to make that call.
Yeah.
And then I had this little brick, no maintenance, easy for a single woman, and she loves it, and she's there.
Oh, I love
happy.
Yeah. I love that because
she's become a friend.
Yeah, well,
yeah, because she lives in the community.
Yes, and now she's part of it. She sees you down at the coffee shop. And that's what I love about, this town is like you do run into everyone.
Yes.
And I enjoy that.
Yeah.
Because it feels very welcoming and very,
Well, my biggest networking is the post office and IGA. And sometimes if I'm in a hurry,
oh, you would never get out on time.
I have to send my husband to get the shopping because I can't get from aisle to aisle.
Yeah, especially because you're very friendly. So to be one of those things where, you'd stop and chat and you'd go, oh, man, I really just needed to get some eggs and get out of here.
It's funny, they always want to know about real estate.
Yeah.
I mean, real estate is a great topic.
It is.
And they want to know about real estate in general. Or, Wendy, can you come round to my place? I need an appraisal.
Yeah.
They're just interested. And so that's why.
Real estate's always been a fun topic. I think a big topic at barbecues, at family gatherings. It's always brought up in some capacity.
When I go out, I don't go out because
can talk about real estate
all night, and sometimes you just need a break.
Yep.
But I do.
Of course
I do talk real estate because I do. Yeah, I live and breathe it. I really love what I do.
My favourite one is what market? Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? That question. And what do you think the market's going to do?
Exactly.
When do you think the best
time
to buy
I'm really sorry. I don't have the crystal ball, but you could do this, or this. And there's options, but I don't know which one you want to do personally.
Yeah.
So it's always up to them.
It is. Yeah. It's so personal. And this brings me to a topic now. I've decided to create a new kind of, what do you call it? I call them topics, I guess, or subjects, but it's a game, not even a game. Basically, I usually do a segment called Reddit Real Talk where I go through the people submit Reddit threads and then I'll read them out and we'll unpack them together. But for today, because we're in regional Vic, I thought, what about regional real talk? So this is a realistic buyer scenario. I've got one buyer scenario, one seller scenario that I want to walk you through. So we're going to unpack what people are actually thinking about when they make big property decisions in a regional market. So I've got 2 scenarios that I'd love your perspective on.
Okay.
All right. So one is a local seller is choosing between agents. One has promised a big price and another has given a more realistic strategy. What should sellers be careful of when deciding who to trust with their property?
Okay, I do have this a lot, or not a lot, but it does come across that I've gone in and done an appraisal realistically.
Yep.
Other agents may have gone in and way a bigger price.
Yep.
So to the seller, it's ding, ding, the dollars. That's what they're wanting, but it's not necessarily what they're going to get.
Yep.
And so I always say to them, look, if you want to put it on at that and you list with me, I'm happy to do that, but we'll only do it for 2 or 3 weeks because you're wasting your time and mine and everybody else's. I really feel that it's sitting here in the market. We'll try it for that small time, but really, I wouldn't spoil your property. Let's just do this.
Yeah.
If they've gone with the other agent at the high one, you can guarantee after a while that they've either sold it, which is fantastic, or it's reduced in a very short time.
I like that answer a lot because you're being realistic with, you let them have that choice still, that if you're really persistent with what you want, okay.
We can trial it, but don't waste your time or mine because, you won't achieve anything and it'll just sit there on the market for 2, 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, and you've wasted all that time.
Yep.
And then people will start to look at that property and go, what's wrong with that? And it's because of the price in the first place.
Yep. And pricing in the first
very
campaign.
Crucial to where it sits. Yeah.
It is because buyers are very clued in at the moment. Like they're more clued in than they've ever been.
They've got a lot of access to a lot of
data
and everything else that they are very savvy, which is a good thing.
It is good because they track it, you know. So I've often spoken to buyers going, oh, Jo, can you look at this property? The price went down. Why do you think the price went down? And I said, it's the pricing strategy. Maybe they've got no people come through the open.
I have buyers say, but Wendy, why is that other property on the market still? Maybe with someone else. And I'll go, well, I don't know. And I'll quickly scramble around and look at why it's on and where it is.
Then you like to know the gossip behind it. Go, what have you done here? And it's like you can see that either the photos maybe don't do it justice or the price hasn't justified it.
It's usually, number one to me, it's price.
Yep.
That's my biggest number one. After that, it can be presentation. It goes down the line. But the main one really is price. Yeah.
It is because you need it to come. I think a lot of people don't understand that algorithm on realestate.com, that even where it sits when you search realestate.com, if you search for a maximum budget of 600,000 and you've priced the property, starting at 610,000, for example, you've missed that 600,000.
Yeah,
that's right. So when you're pricing, it's like, okay, well, I need to capture that. The person who's done it to the max.
$50,000 lots.
That's right.
Is how they search. And most of my listings, and don't want to give too many secrets away, but say if it's a $550,000 property, I would always suggest to them to list at 549. So they capture into that and not over.
Yeah. No, that's
and the
well
9 is
too.
a mental thing with selling. They think they're getting a bargain.
Yeah, I don't know what
I don't know what it is, like the 199 bargain, but it works.
It does. It's mental. It's mental marketing. Yeah. And I know my marketing manager, Karina, always says it to me. She says it's $4.99, not $5.99. Not it's all of that makes a difference.
Big difference. Yes.
So if you say it's $650, that looks a bit weird.
It's too straight and standard. $649, that's softer. Yeah.
It is softer. Yeah, we're strange as humans.
Yes.
And I've got another scenario now. This is from the buying side, and it's a couple from Melbourne or interstate have been looking at Paynesville online. They love the water, the lifestyle, and the idea of retiring somewhere beautiful, but they've only visited once or twice. What would you want them to understand before they buy?
I would like them to understand the area, what's offered to them, what's available, as opposed to what they're leaving. I don't know what they're leaving. It could be, in the middle of Melbourne. It could be a countryside somewhere else. But they need to understand within the area what is here on offer for them.
Yeah. No, right. I like that. Yeah. So it's all those services and the things we spoke about earlier. Yeah. It's do you know where you are?
And do you know, yes, you've come here, you love it. We all fall in love with it straight away because it's beautiful. But, after a little while, whether it be a couple of months or 6 months, is it going to be right for you?
Yeah.
Have you got everything you need to be able to stay comfortable in this area?
100%.
And that's really important. Yeah.
So, Wendy, I've enjoyed this chat, but I can't let you go before we get your final thoughts, because we need to go to our no BS statement first, and then I'd like to know, your final kind of piece of advice. So just to remind you, our no BS statement today was, in regional real estate, trust travels faster than marketing. Do you think that that's BS or not BS?
Not BS.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
Because it does travel very fast in country areas. The grapevine is amazing. And I say that nicely.
Of course.
So if they've got that trust, that is not BS.
Yeah. I love it because we get to own up to our name today. So
Yes.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And, Wendy, for someone listening who is thinking about selling in East Gippsland, buying into an area or making a major regional lifestyle move now, this is where I'd love your final advice. What do you want them to understand before they choose an agent, choose a property, or make that next move?
Whether they're selling,
Selling or buying.
Selling or buying. Well, probably they're a little bit different because sellers will choose agents different to what buyers will, because buyers will choose with the property that they want. But then I've had some buyers that have chosen agents and won't, even if they love the house, they've moved on because there's not that connection there.
Yeah.
Or they don't really understand what the buyers really want. And it's the same on the other side with the sellers. If they're selling, like we said before, you need to stop and listen and really be on their page to see what they want. But also, it's a team.
Yeah.
And it's a team with pretty much the agent, the seller, and the buyer. Yeah. So even if a buyer purchases a property, the whole way through, my buyer and my seller will know exactly where it's going until settlement.
Yeah. And I love that. And it's a great piece of advice for people that are thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, Wendy, I can't believe the time just flew with you, so much so that our caravan battery nearly died. But I've really enjoyed this conversation. You bring such a warmth and a wealth of knowledge, and I love the way you do real estate. And I'm so glad that Beadle Real Estate is someone that's around here, because I know exactly who I'd be recommending and using,
Thank you.
Oh, 100%. I mean that from the heart, because like I said, I interview a lot of professionals, some really great ones, and I've met a lot of people in my line of work, especially being an ex-agent.
Yes.
And you're very rare as an agent. So, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom.
Well, thank you. I do try and think outside the square, and that's probably why I love what I'm doing.
Yeah, and especially with your visual design, you've brought it all in as a whole.
Together.
Yeah. No, thank you once again for being here.
No, thanks, Jo, for having me.
Of course. And thank you to our listeners for always tuning in. If you loved this episode and you want to connect with Wendy, like I always say, it costs nothing to pick up the phone and have a chat or go and have a coffee. Pick up the phone, give Wendy a call if you've got any questions at all, whether you're buying or selling. She's a wonderful person, so easy to talk to, which I'm sure you gathered from this episode. And if you like this episode, please subscribe, follow us for more, and we'll see you next time on the No BS Real Estate Podcast. I'm Jo Agresta. Bye for now. That's a wrap for this episode of the No BS Real Estate Podcast, powered by Abodi AI. If you found this conversation helpful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who might need it. If you're looking for more guidance on your home buying journey, you can visit www.abodi.com.au for expert advice, property insights, and the tools you need to find the right home with confidence. If you're already on your journey, you can also download our app. Just search Abodi AI on the App Store or Google Play. Have any questions or want to connect, you can follow us on Instagram at abodi.com.au or send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.